Okay, I'm in the book of Zechariah. This book is a lot like Haggai, except it's 14 chapters instead of 2 chapters. But it's dealing with the temple. And of course he has visions. And then he prophesies a lot about Christ. So it starts, in the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying, The Lord hath sore displeased with your fathers. Therefore say thou unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn ye unto me, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn ye now from your evil ways and from your evil doings. But they did not hear, nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord. So, basically, he's telling them to turn to him, that their fathers and ancestors didn't do it. That they wouldn't listen to the priests or to the prophets. And then he has visions of horses and riders. 4 of them. No, I think it's just one. Yeah, it's just one. There's another one where he has 4. And he has the vision of them, and he's wondering who they are. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth. And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still, and is at rest. And the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies, and my house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and the Lord shall yet comfort Zion, and he shall yet choose Jerusalem. Because when Zechariah started to prophesy, the temple had been stopped building, because there was a time where people was lying on them and lying on the Jews, and they had to stop the construction. And then a couple years later, I think 15 years, it was halted, and then it started to be rebuilt again. So so this is just prophesying, saying that there'll be his house will be built again, and they'll prosper. So now he has a vision of 4 horns and 4 carpenters. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters. And then said I, What come these to do? And he spake, saying, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horns over the land of Judah, to scatter it. So basically, the nations that was up against Jerusalem and stuff, they'll reap their fate, basically. Then he has a vision of a surveyor. And he said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I, saith the Lord, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nation which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants, and ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughters of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. And I will dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And the Lord shall inherit Judah as his portion in the holy land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O all flesh, before the Lord, for he is raised up out of his holy mountain. So that is a vision of the future that's going to happen. And then he has a vision of Joshua the high priest, because there was a man named Joshua, and he was the priest of the temple that was being built during the time of the Persian rule. And God showed him a vision. And he showed me a vision, Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? And Joshua had filthy garments on him. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garment from him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused thine iniquity pass from thee, and I'll clothe thee with change of raiment. See, the iniquity, he was dirty, and that's a vision of Israel and Judah today. They are dirty, but when Christ comes, he'll no longer see their iniquity, because he'll plead with them, and they'll turn to him fully. And they charged Joshua in his vision, which he would be the priest of the temple and stuff that was built in the book of Ezra, and it was there during the time of Nehemiah when he built the city. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways and will keep my charge, then shalt thou also judge my house, and shall keep my courts, and I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by. Hear now, O Joshua the priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Joshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. For behold, I will engrave the gravings thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. And in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall ye call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. So this is talking a vision, I guess a twofold vision, really. It's anointing Joshua the high priest over the temple, but yet he's going to bring forth the servant, the branch. Now, who's the branch? That's Christ. And the stones with 7 eyes is Christ. And he'll remove the iniquity of the land in one day. And then there'll be peace, because it says, ye call every man his neighbor. Shall you call every man your neighbor? So it'll be a world peace when Christ comes, the branch. And then he has a vision of a golden candlestick. He says, the angel talked with me again and woke me, as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I've looked, and behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, another one upon the left side. And the angel asked him, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. And then he spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstones thereof, with shouting, crying, Grace, grace unto it. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house.
His hand shall also finish it. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you. For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord which run to and fro through the whole earth. Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and on the left side? And he told him. He answered me, saying, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. And he said, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. And of course, the anointed ones in this case would be Joshua the priest and Zerubbabel that built the temple. Of course, God was among them and stuff. I mean, spiritually and stuff, to where he wanted to make sure it was complete. The temple was complete. But then, of course, in 70 AD, the Romans destroyed the temple, and then he's going to want another temple. Like I said in the other previous books, there's going to be another temple built. And right now, where the temple's at, there's a mosque. I believe, the mosques in Jerusalem and stuff, they can't go and worship in the synagogue and all that stuff. So there's going to be another temple built. Then he has a vision of a flying scroll, and that's basically judgment on the wicked and the sinners. He says, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. And I'll bring it forth, and saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stone thereof. Then he has another vision of a woman in the ephah, and he said, This is the wickedness, and he cast it in the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of the lead upon the mouth thereof. And he said unto me to build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. And that's talking about removing the wickedness from Jerusalem. Or basically the whole earth. Then he has a vision of 4 chariots. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, behold, there came 4 chariots out from between the 2 mountains. And the mountains were mountains of brass. In the first chariot were red horses, and the second chariot black horses, and the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot grizzled and bay horses. The angel told him there are 4 spirits of heaven which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. And of course the black horse and then the white horse went to the north country, and then the bay went to the south. And the grizzled went to the south. And then they cried upon me and spake unto me, saying, Behold, these that go up toward the north have quieted my spirit in that country. And when they talk about spirit, where's that? Got my little footnote here. Means his anger. So they quieted his anger. And then he has a vision of the crowning of Joshua. No, this is the crowning of Joshua. And he told him to take silver and gold and make crowns and set them upon the head of Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest. And speaking to him, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, saying, Behold, the man whose name is the branch, he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of the Lord. And he shall build the temple of the Lord, and he shall bear the glory, and shall sit and rule upon his throne, and he shall be a priest upon his throne, and the council of peace shall be between them both. So he's crowning them and making them the priest of the temple, being, but it's twofold. Because he was the temple priest then, but then, of course, the branch will come, which is Christ, and he'll be the king and the priest. He'll be everything. And then
God came to Zechariah and stuff, and to speak to the priest, which were in the house of the Lord. And they had feasts. And God told him to speak unto the people of the land, and to the priests, saying, when ye fasted and mourned in the 5th month and the 7th month, even those 70 years, did ye all fast unto me, even to me. So they had feasts and fasts. They did all this, and but they never did do it to the Lord. They did it for other reasons, for other traditions that they've made up. He says, and when you did eat and when you did drink, did not ye eat for yourselves and drink for yourselves? Should ye not hear the words which the Lord hath cried by the former prophets, when Jerusalem was inhabited and in prosperity, and the cities thereof round about her, when men inhabited the south and the plain? Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every one to his brother, and oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, nor the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. But they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ears, that they should not hear. Therefore it came to pass, that as he cried, they would not hear. So they cried, and I would not hear, saith the Lord of hosts. But I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. So he's telling them, I wanted to do this, and no one would listen. So I didn't listen to them when they cried for me. He's just basically putting them in check, basically saying, okay, this is how it happened, now you got to change this. And then it goes on to the future of Jerusalem. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith the Lord, I am returning to Zion, and I will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. The streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of his people in these days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith the Lord of hosts? So this is obviously talking about the latter time, past the latter time, because it's saying in these days. So it's obviously not talking about what's going to happen soon during that time, whenever they did rebuild the city and the temple and all that. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, let your hands be strong, ye that hear, in these days. These words by the mouth of the prophets, which were in the day that the foundation of the house of the temple of the Lord of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. But now I will not be unto you the residue. But now I will not be unto the residue of this people as in the former days, saith the Lord of hosts. And it shall come to pass that as ye were a curse among the heathen, O house of Judah and the house of Israel, so will I save you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, saith the Lord of hosts, I repented not. So again have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Fear ye not. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are the things that I hate, saith the Lord. A false oath. You got a lot of that going on today. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, it shall come to pass that there shall come people, and the inhabitants of many cities, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord, and seek the Lord of hosts. I will go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. And that is going to happen here in our future.